Good morning, ladies. I'm bringing you a little trash to treasure video today. As many of us have just tons of lace that, we've purchased or someone has, gifted to us. And if you struggle like I do to keep them neat and organized, I have a very small room, so that's kind of a task for me. So I decided to make a little ribbon holder. And I just used toilet paper rolls and an empty ribbon spool. I don't know what I did with my top. It's here. Oh, here it is. So what I've done is just remove the top from a ribbon spool. They come like this. And I pulled the top off. And then there is a little thing in here where the ribbon was wrapped around it. So I glued the toilet paper roll over that, and then I put another toilet paper roll on top of it, glued it, and then just wrapped some masking tape around it to keep it stable. So that's what the base of this is made of, and then I've just covered it. Now this one I did uh, a little bit more than I'm going to do on this one. I covered this entire thing with felt and unfortunately used up all my felt. I put it on the bottom, put it on the top. Now on the top of this, on the top of the this part, I put like 4 layers of batting and then covered it with muslin and a doily. The reason being is that I am notorious for losing my needles and they're never right where I want them. I do, however, have this beautiful little gift that was gifted to me by and created by Lucille Crumb, and it holds a spool of thread and a needle. But you could even use decorative stick pins, to put in here just to make it pretty. And then I used a curtain and some scrap laces and trims, and then I made a little flower for the top of it just to give it a little something something. So that's what I'm going to show you today. And these, you wouldn't have to put this on the top. You could leave these, perfectly flat, which is what I'm going to do with this one. And you can make them in varying sizes. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Um, I have saved a lot of empty ribbon holders because I thought, these are going to be good for something. So, you wouldn't have to even make them this size. You could just do, decorate this and store your trims on this one. The other thought that I had, and this is what I think I'm going to do, is to put these end to end because they all have the holes in them. Okay, this one got a little bent, but I can fix that. Just put them end to end and then take a dowel rod and, put a dowel rod through here. And right above my desk, I have a shelf and a ledge. I'm going to have my husband just put a little thing where I can slip the dowel rod in there and kind of like a paper towel roll holder. And you could even use paper towel rolls, empty paper towel rolls to make these as well. Um, and just put that up above my desk so that my ribbons are right there and ready for me, not ribbons, laces, that I can just pull down and use them as I need them. So what I've decided to do with this one, I'm going to get all this stuff out of the way. Oops, I need that. What I'm going to do with this one is, like I said, I covered the other one with, with felt and then muslin and then lace. That was a little bit too much work. It's pretty, but it was a little bit too much work. So what I've done is I just took an old curtain that I had and I've coffee dyed it and I cut it um, so that it would fit right around the roll. Now you can still see the toilet paper, or the toilet paper rolls behind it. You could paint this if you wanted to with gesso or whatever color that you wanted to. But I am going to put this on And then I'm going to cover it with a piece of burlap in the center, so that really not much of that toilet paper roll is going to be showing. So I'm just going to put this on here like this, and I'm going to take my hot glue gun and just run a bead of glue right down through here to adhere this lace curtain to the toilet paper rolls. And I did cut this a little bit longer. Didn't intend to, but I can trim that up. But before I do, oh no, I'll trim that first. I'm talking to myself, ladies. So I'm just going to take my scissors. Actually, I don't even have to do that because the burlap's going to go over it. So I'm just going to run a bead of glue around the top, like this, and just adhere the top of this right to the top of the toilet paper roll, just like so. And then I'll just glue. If you hear giggling and some noises in the background, it's my grandson. School hasn't started back up yet here, and he's entertaining himself with cartoons. So if you hear giggling, just giggle along with him. So I'm just gluing this other edge down here, like so. Like this. And as I said, this is not going, a lot of this is not going to be visible anyway, because number one, I'm going to use the burlap around it, but number two, you're going to be wrapping your laces around it. I just wanted something that would, be kind of pretty. If the laces were emptied out and before I added new ones, it wouldn't just be looking like toilet paper rolls glued together. So I pre-cut this, and I'm just kind of centering it between so that the laces show here. Okay, and I'm just going to run a bead of glue, just like I did with the lace, and glue this down, and then do the same thing with the burlap. Might have cut this. Nope, it's going to be okay. I thought I might have cut it a little too short. And burlap ravels, but by using the hot glue, you kind of take care of that. It's not going to ravel. If I can get my fingers off of it, it's not going to ravel for you once you adhere the hot glue to it. Kind of seals it. So just kind of tugging and pushing this down. And again, you're not going to really see this because you're going to have your laces on it. So just like that. And I got a little bit right here I need to glue. And the reason that I cut this the way that I did this short is because I'm going to use, and I believe I got this, I'm pretty sure I got this ribbon. It was not a ribbon, but this burlap trim from May at Creating Details. She was selling this. I don't know if she still is or not. But I like it because it's finished on both ends of the burlap, like this. So it comes like this. I think she was selling this by the yard. But at any rate, I didn't have a lot of it left, and I knew I wanted to use it on the top. So so there you have it. That's pretty much all there is to covering this part of it. And then you're going to wrap your laces around it. So I want to cover this up. And what I've done is this is another trim that came from Creating the Details, and I have cut this trim apart. These and these pieces here were all together, and I just snipped out, you know, the individual pieces where I wanted to use them. So I used part of this trim on here and on here to cover up, oops, to cover up, you know, where they come together. So since I had these already from that trim, I figured I would use them on here, like so, just as a little decorative piece on here. I'll kind of hide everything and sort of hide the, you know, the whiteness too. Now I do have some other, another trim. I think I have enough of this that I'm going to put around here like I did on the other one. So it'll just kind of finish it off. But you could use, you know, you could cover the whole thing with burlap if you chose. It's just kind of that, you know, it's kind of a country thing. And my house is kind of, you know, kind of a rustic, shabby farmhouse kind of deal. So burlap is a good thing for me. So I'm just going around and gluing these little pieces of, you know, the flower part that I cut off of the trim right around the edge, just to hide where it joins here, because that looks just yucky. Like I said, this is just a quick little project that you can do, you know, to store your stuff on, and it'll be pretty even if there's nothing stored on it. So now I'm just going to go around and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue right here just to adhere that, because you don't want any loose edges when you're wrapping this. You're wrapping your laces around it because they'll get all caught. So that's all I'm doing right here. Just dabbing little bits of glue just to, you know, make sure that when I do put my trims and laces on here, it doesn't get caught up on there. Like I said, with the dowel rods, you could, you know, just cover this part, leave the hole in there, and you could still do the exact same thing that I said I was going to do with the smaller ones. You could have these end to end as well, or you could stack them on top of each other. There's just lots and lots of different ways that you can use this. So I've got those on there, and a couple of them left. So let's see, how else do I want to cover this? I know I want to use the trim. This GIMP trim is from Creating with Details, and I love this trim. And I'm not really too bothered by this being white because there is kind of some white in here. And I kind of like that mixture of, you know, the ecru or the ivory or cream and the white. I love that combination for some reason. But I think what I want to do is find something that I can put in the center here. Now this is another trim that I've, you know, kind of cut apart, and I think maybe what I'll do is cut this apart further, and where I've got these little spaces, just glue one of these in here before I glue this on the bottom. So let's just try that and see how that works. Like I said, this is a great project to use up leftovers, you know, scraps. You don't need a lot of material. I should have measured, you know, how far around this was, but you know, toilet paper rolls are all different, you know, depending on what manufacturer, you know, you buy from. They're all different sizes, so we don't have a particular brand that we use all the time, so I have varying sizes of toilet paper rolls. And I just this morning watched a video by Chatty Dollar, and she did a, you know, an upcycling, recycling project using paper towel holders and made some really adorable napkin rings. So you need to check her out too. It's just, you know, I love doing projects where you can take something that's basically would have been thrown out and turn them into something useful. So see, I just put those little flowers in these areas right here. Okay, so that worked out pretty well. I'm just cutting off the little pieces where it joins it. I'm trying to make sure that I have the right side of the flower. So I'm going to need another glue stick. And I'm just gluing it right like that. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking I may put a little piece of trim right, like right here, because it just looks like it sort of landed there. It's not finished, and I want it to look finished. And I may put a piece of trim or lace or something where that seam is, where I joined the burlap together. Like I said, not necessary because you are going to be covering it, but I want it to look pretty if it doesn't have any laces on it. I can't imagine that being the case, but just, you know, just for that little moment where you haven't added more laces back to it, it will be pretty. So I had just enough of these little flowers to put in those little gaps there, which is good. That's why I never ever throw scraps away. No matter how small they are. I can't tell you how many times I've been doing a project and, you know, needed a, you know, a really, really tiny little piece. And because you save all of these, now I don't save these things, but, you know, I save even the smallest pieces because you never know where you might need a little extra piece. Boy, he is giggling in there. I do not mind the laughter of children, that is for sure, for sure. Now, when they start screaming and hollering and carrying on like some banshees, you know, that gets on my last nerve a little bit. I'll just be honest with you. But he's just enjoying himself, so I'm going to enjoy the laughter right along with him. Okay, so I'm just tacking these little flower petals down. Okay, so there we have that. And let me see. See, this is the kind of thing that I'm talking about that I save. Oh, yeah, I saved those too. These little things right here were cut off from projects that I've done using this trim, which is also from Creating Details. And this is the last piece that I have of this. So I'm going to use every bit of it. And what I can do is to further cover this, just cut these little tiny flowers and put them in here. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I like that. So again, just tiny little pieces that, and I won't throw, see this little like leaf, I won't throw that out either because maybe we can use that, or, you know, it might be the perfect thing for another flower or another project. You could even use these in, you know, if you're making a flower or something where you just want a little piece dangling. So every little piece comes in handy. Just gonna save these because you just never know. So now I'm just going to put a little bit of glue and make sure I have the right side like right there. And do the same thing over here. Just add, whoops, 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 you're not centered. Where do you think you're going? So kind of like in between these bigger flowers, I'm just adding this. I have the right side. Yes. So I'm just adding these right in between these two flower petals right here. And I've got one more I'm going to put here. So there you have that. Oops. Glue that down a little bit. Now I'm going to take my this Chinese gimp trim that did come from Creating with Details, and I'm going to glue strings. Let's see, I need to glue that down a little bit. And you can go back if you have little pieces that are kind of, you know, not behaving, and just kind of tack them down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this part of the gimp and I'm just going to glue it right on the edge, like so. Okay? Ladies, what did we do before glue guns? I'm serious. What did we do? I was thinking about that the other day and I thought, wow. What? How did we do projects before these wonderful inventions of the glue gun, despite the fact that we dislike the glue strings or glue webs or whatever, you know, you want to call them. We don't like those, but, you know, a quick spritz with your heat gun or a blow dryer and they disappear. So it's really not that big of a deal, but man, what a time saver. Absolutely love my glue gun, as I'm sure most of you do too. So I'm just putting that edge right along the edge of the spool, just to finish it off a little bit. And you wouldn't have to do this. I mean, you wouldn't have to go through any of this really if all you wanted to do is just, you know, put laces on it. But I like it to look shabby, pretty, farmhouse kind of thingy, so that's why I'm doing this. And it's a good way, like I said, to use up your scrap pieces too. Because after a while, they do build up. Now, I'm not worrying about finishing the bottom on this one because it is, you know, it's a smooth cardboard. But you could put a piece of felt, or, you know, something else, fabric, whatever, on the bottom of it, just to hide all the writing. I wasn't really too concerned about it because it's going to be standing up like that, so the only person that's going to see it is me when I lift it up. Okay, so now we have all of that on here, and what I'm going to do now is just take little dabs of glue and just adhere this down, just dots here and there. It doesn't have to be perfect. And just gluing it, you know, gluing it down so that it gives it a finished appearance when it's all put together. Just run a bead of glue and just kind of, just a very light bead of glue. Don't need a lot. I still have yet to get those little glue helper tools, and I've got to get some because they look so handy dandy. So there we have, oops, I missed a spot. Oh, they have it all. So there we have it. Just that simple. Just covering it with various pieces of trims and lace. And I do have enough to cover that seam with the burlap. See? It's just kind of pretty. So I'm going to put that there. Just because I wanna. And I'm going to go from right at the top of this flower, right down that seam line, all the way to the top. Yep, I got the right side. And then I will just cut this off because we still have to put the top on here. So I'm just going to cut that off right about there. And just kind of tack this down a little bit more. See, that just finishes off that seam really nicely. You never know. And now that I have these trims and stuff on here, I'm not bothered by this. You know, I said I might put a little bit of trim there, but you could. It would be kind of cute if you know, did it maybe something like that. That would be cute too. But this part is going to be covered with lace. So, oh, that's all I have left. But I'll use it somewhere. I will. All right, so now we have this part done. Let me do that down a little bit better, where it's doubled over. Now, what I was going to do, what I am going, ooh, glue strings, look at all that. Wow. That's why I need that glue mat, because this gets everywhere. So now I'm going to work on the top, and what I did when I told you I wanted to make sure that, you know, I had enough to cover that, because what I'm going to do now is I measured this, and I'm going to just basically, you know, kind of put this in, sandwich this in here and glue it down like so, so that the front and the back are covered, you know, the top and the bottom, I should say, because then this is going to go on here, and I want that part and the top to be finished, just because it looks prettier. So I am just going to put some glue, and you could easily, if you wanted to use this like with the dowel rod where that hole is, you could easily just cut a hole right there if you wanted to. And I am going to adhere some other kind of trim, glue, to the edge of this just to finish it off. You could use whatever you want. You could do a ruffled edge if you wanted to. Find little pieces like I did for the bottom. Okay, so just gluing this down like this. I just want to make sure my edges are adhered. And then I'm just going to cut, because you can still see, I'm just going to cut around this. Just right around that cardboard. And then I'll go back through with the glue gun and glue the edges down really good. So there you go. Just that simple. And you can, you know, you can trim it up. But I'm going to be putting an edging on here, so I'm not really worried about, you know, trimming it. And I'm just gluing this where I missed it. Just gluing it together, kind of making a sandwich. It's a sandwich. It's a burlap sandwich. Okay, so there's that. Now let's see what other trim I have that I could use on here. I have some trims that I'm out of the gimp because that's it. But I do have some of this trim that I coffee dyed. I think I got this from Walmart that I could use. Now I could cut this part off, you know, and just use this. But I think what I'm going to do is glue that part onto the edge, and then I'll probably have to, you know, cut right in here to get these to lay smoother. But let me just measure how much of this I need to go around. I'm going to cut that off. I don't really measure a whole lot of things. I just sort of wing it and eyeball it. So I'm going to cut that off right there. And then, before I glue this, I am going to see where these two pieces are joined together. I am just going to cut right between there because that'll give me the ability to curve it a little bit more. Oops. And it's just one simple little snip, and that'll give us the, you know, the ease that we'll need to go from a straight line to a circle. Okay, so I'm going to start by gluing. I do need to glue that down a little bit better because it really didn't get in there. Okay, I'm going to start by gluing this edge right here, making sure I got the, you just pick which side you want to be your top and your bottom. So I'm just going to take my glue gun and run a bead of glue, and making sure I got the right side. Yes, I do. I'm just going to adhere this line right here, right to the edge. I don't know what he's giggling at, but it's got him going. I don't know if you ladies can hear it, and I hope that my fan running here isn't too loud, because it's a beautiful day, and I've got my fan, I've got my window open, and I've got my fan blowing out, because, you know, we've had the air conditioning running for so long, and trust me, I'm very, very thankful for the person that invented air conditioning, because it's been beastly hot. But when it's not hot, I love to throw my windows open and, as my grandma used to say, blow out the stink. So I hope it's not too loud. And I love having my windows open so I can hear the crickets and I can hear the birds. Not too crazy about hearing the cars and the planes and the trains. I don't have the trains, but you know what I mean. But you got to take the good with the bad. Right now I can hear crickets chirping outside my window. So see, we're just going around the edge here. You could even do this with ribbon. You know, edge your edges with ribbon. That would be pretty too. Okay, I'm just gonna glue this where I've overlapped it. So there you have the edges all covered. Look, that looks like a little crown. You can actually make a little crown if you stiffen this. Cute. And I'm just going to, where this is sticking up here, just going to glue that down. And that way it'll finish it off on, you know, kind of both sides. Because on the other side, I'm going to glue those little, these little pieces down. This way you won't have any raveling, your edges are finished. This is one thing bugs me. I have to finish my edges on stuff, because otherwise it just doesn't look finished to me. But again, when you're doing yours, and I hope you'll give this a try, you can do it however you want. You could put beads, you know, the string beads. You could put those on the edges. You could really dress it up. Was I out of frame that whole time? Oh, I can be such a dork. But y'all know what I'm doing. I'm just gluing. Now this is going to be the underside of the top of the spool, the ribbon holder. Man, what a mess. And working with burlap does make a mess, as you all know. So I got glue strings and I've got burlap fibers. Okay, so see, I'm just going to just add little bits of glue to the tips of these. I'm just going to kind of go opposite, start in one spot and just glue in the opposite directions, like so. And I'm going to go to this side and do the same thing. And as you can see, by clipping that right there, it's enabled this to lay a little bit flatter and circle around, which is what I wanted it to do. So when I get to these parts, I'm just kind of overlapping them a little bit. And my fingers are sticking. That's why I need to get those glue helpers. Okay. So I'm just gluing right around these little tips and kind of gluing and stretching at the same time. Not a lot, just a gentle tug, like so. You see how pretty that's making that top? It looks almost like an applique. So let's continue with this. Now, you could make a flower for the top of this if you want to. I did pull out some things to do that with, but I'm liking the way that this looks, so I'm not sure that I'm going to add a flower to this because I really like the center or the top of this being this simple. And Shabby Farmhouse is, it's very simplistic. So, sorry, that's my phone and I'm not answering. So I hope that noise doesn't, it never fails when I'm doing a video, my phone starts ringing or somebody walks in. So, see, it almost makes like a little star in the center. So I'm not going to add the flower. I could put one of these in there though. Let's see how that looks. Oh, that looks kind of pretty, doesn't it? Yeah, we're going to go with that. See, all those little pieces that you cut up come in handy. So, there we have that. And that's the top of your lace spool holder, for lack of a better thing to call it. Now what we're going to do is glue this on the top, like so. And what I'm going to do, again, just eyeballing, I'm going to put a bead of glue. Oh my word, can you hear him? Hold! Okay, so I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. And just make sure that I'm not too cockeyed. And just kind of hold it down for a minute. Now I could add, because I said, like these edges here, this doesn't look too bad, but you could take some pieces like, like this and just kind of finish off the edges. Or you could use, even some of the trim that you might, or lace that you might be adding to your piece. You could even, put it around there. I'm not going to do that, but let me just see if I did this like that. I'm getting carried away. But that's not unusual for me. Wait, yeah, okay, this is the top. That might be kind of cute, because I do have enough of this. See, just to finish that off. Yeah, I'm going with it. Okay. Just when I think I'm done, I start thinking and end up doing something else. So, just going to glue this right on the top here. You can see I'm going to need another glue stick. Okay, so I'm just going to run a bead of glue right here and just adhere this right to that. And that not only covers up this part, but solves that issue that I was a little bit bothered by up there. Yay! Okay. So just gluing this on here. Just gives it that little finish look. Sorry, ladies. And I'm going to glue this down here, like so. And then just take little dabs and glue these little points down, like so. Whoops. Guess I missed the glue on that one. And then I think I'm going to do the same thing at the bottom. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, so there we have that all trimmed out nice and neat. So let's just see if we went like this. Yep, I'm doing it. So on this one, I'm just going to kind of start and stop. And I'm going to go right above the flowers that I put on here. Okay. Let's see. No, I'm going to go over the flowers. Okay, so just going to start adding a bead of glue. Make sure I got the right side, and I did not have. That would have been bad. Okay. So just gluing this down. And this is pretty much all I'm going to do. I just wanted to give you a little, quickie idea of what you can do with some of the stuff that you collect, or even if you haven't been collecting them, when you empty out your ribbon spools, maybe you'll want to save them and, do a little project like this. It's really, you already have your laces and your trims, so this is kind of like a freebie project. You don't have to go out and buy anything. You've already got it. And what a great way to recycle items. Okay, so just going to glue these down a little bit right here just to keep them straight. And so it doesn't interfere with, whatever laces I choose to put around here. And right here. So, there you have it, ladies. Just simple things you have laying around the house that you can use and make useful, pretty little items without having to spend anything, because you've already got, the scrap laces, the material, whatever you wanted to do to wrap your laces up. So there we have two totally different styles, all done with just scraps and empty spools and toilet paper holders. So I hope you guys like this. I hope that you will give this a try. If you do give this a try, I would love to see yours. So if you could kind of tag me if you do these, just so I can see, because I get so inspired by you guys and your creativity and your ideas, because we all have different things that pop into our head while we're creating. So until next time, ladies, please be kind to one another, support one another, get yourselves prayed up, and God bless you. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.